Well, it's about 25 after 10 o'clock on Monday, June the 28th, 2010. We're at about 8 miles from the final point. I'm not sure how good this is going to be. Nothing things up. But we're at Fenway Island State Park. Just getting ready to leave. We should arrive, or the schedule is to arrive at noon, and it's our understanding we're there. And some other people, and hopefully the press will be there, and some of the people who have helped us and worked with us are going to try to be there. As a matter of fact, he's talking with Diane Shoemaker right now.
8 more miles to go and this trip's over with. It's been a long trip. We've done all kinds of stuff, you know. Starting in the beginning, probably already mentioned this 100 times, but it just was in my head. We made the trip to Carbondale. We didn't have the maps. It was exciting when we got there. We were officially on the maps. You know, Tim File came along, you know. I mean, even earlier than that, you know, I came up with this a pipe dream and called Kelly and got the whole thing started. I didn't even have an idea of what we were actually doing, and slowly but surely, or really within an afternoon, it turned into hand cycling to the East Coast. And then I talked to my friends, and they said, well, we ought to go up towards DC and go to Rehoboth. So then I thought, well, I'll just go through DC then, and then called Kelly to, you know, make sure she, you know, gave me a bike. I started training. You know, a year later, you know, after so much work from everybody, you know, I started out doing a fundraiser by myself, and then people realized that I was serious about this, and then we did several other fundraisers, and everybody worked their butt off, and you know, and then to get started on the trip, like I said, make it down to Carbondale to where the map started. You know, later making it to the Ohio, and I was sad about it because I was so far away from home and wasn't used to being gone that long. Eastern Kentucky. We were on the border of Eastern Kentucky, and it's like, oh, we're in Eastern Kentucky now. This is so long. And then getting to our first mountain that had a name, and climbing that, and realizing that I could even climb a mountain. And then finally the last mountain, climbing that and realizing that I had climbed everything I had to climb, and that I did it without ever walking the bike. And you know, and then later on getting to Washington, D.C., you know, which became kind of our ending point, even though that was never really the case. But it was such a big monumental thing to get there and go around the nation's capital. And now finally, the last goal is getting, you know, to the East Coast officially. I've ridden alongside of it for the last time I rode, I mean, the ocean's right there. And we rode alongside of it all day. So it's going to be so fantastic touching water. I don't even know if I know exactly what to think. I've been living so long only worried about this much space that I forget that I'm even at the ocean. So it's going to take a while to sink in quite how much we've all done. So thanks to Tim, and Brian. You know, they did this, you know, trip with me and didn't even get the credit that I got. Along with all the people at home that put in the work, time, effort, money, everything. So thanks a lot.
Okay, so he's officially off. It's about 10:35, and I got a trick myself. I said I keep wanting to call it Fenway. It's Fenwick Island, and we're right by Fenwick Beach. So this is the last place that's in Delaware. As we drive down the road here just a little bit, we'll come to 142nd Street in Maryland. It's the outskirts of Ocean City. From there on, Ocean City just goes on until you can't go. So that's only about 10:40. It's only been on the road for 5 minutes or so. It's just catching up with Ellen. It's kind of just a little over a mile and a half he's already covered. So he's making a good pace. Scenery here. The water's on both sides of it, so it's a little hard to tell because it's just enough. We can see the dunes out there. And the other side actually goes down to the water more directly on the back bay. Delaware, it said. I may have missed it. This is the last town or city inside of Delaware. So we'll just kind of, from our little ride yesterday, we just basically go from here into Ocean City at, I think it's 142nd Street. And then we're going from there down to 14th Street. So it's a good ride with a lot of stop signs after we get down. It's pretty much like this, only as you get down further, there's probably bigger things, condos and that. 14th Street appeared to be, when we were down there yesterday, kind of like the original area that was Ocean City. You know, it's a definitely older building, smaller, and apparently they are going to keep it that way. They have not torn that stuff down and rebuilt things. There's some more pictures of the area. And we're still in Finland. Candy kitchens, there was one maybe every mile or less. After we get down here, there was a couple of them up where we were staying up in Rehoboth. They seem to be everywhere. It's about 10:45. We're just a little over 3 miles into the trip. And here we are being welcomed into Maryland. I need to find some place that I can stop and wait for Ellen. We're 3.5 miles. It's about 10 to 11. I don't know if you can make out the sign on there, but it says 142nd Street. That's Ocean City. We just did cross into Maryland at the same time into the outskirts of Ocean City. I expect Ellen to be coming by any time coming down that way. Okay, it's about, it's just about a little less than 10:02, and Ellen just came by. Like I said, we're at 3.5 miles, so he's almost another mile or so and he'll be halfway. 142nd Street, and there's Ellen. So he's officially in Ocean City. The next thing would be get down to 14th and figure out how we're going to get to the beach. Jogging and riding bikes is a big thing down here. Let's give you some shots. It just goes on and on, but shortly we'll be coming to some high-rise, and then that goes on for a long way. It's the ocean side, by the way. My right is going south. About 5 miles out, so I mean this just goes on. I should tell it's not the weekend, it being Monday, this was all full and jammed. Traffic was tremendous on Sunday when we come down. There's still a lot of people here, but apparently an awful lot of people just come in for the weekend, Friday through Sunday. Well, it's almost 11 o'clock right on the button, and I see Alan coming across 123rd Street, and this is actually at roughly the 5-mile mark. Well, it's a little after 5 after, we're at 94th Street, and you can't see him, but Ellen just crossed the intersection before it turned red. It's a little over, it's about 6 3/10 miles that we've traveled.